What up, Pitmasters? Welcome to Tuesday night. I am doing a special show tonight. We are doing an SCA Town Hall. So, first of all, if you are currently watching this on StreamYard, you are actually in the Town Hall and you will be selected on to speak. If you choose not to speak on this matter, please head over to our YouTube channel. You can watch it live. You can comment there as well. So, the reason why I decided to do this, for one, let's just clear the air. I am not here to talk bad about the SCA. I am a huge fan of the SCA. I want this to grow. I want it to be where it was in 2021, 2020. I know those numbers were staggering. There wasn't a lot of competitions at the time, but as an SCA competitor, I enjoy cooking against my friends. I really, really do. I like cooking against 40 competitors and winning or losing, it doesn't matter, but to increase the odds of making the odds slimmer on to win, more competitors, more challenging, more competitive cooking there. Yes, we have cooks that are, 15 people, some in the Midwest that we're doing 30, 40 people still, but out west we are kind of struggling to get this SCA ball rolling downhill again where we get more people out there. So I decided this isn't a like bash the SCA, let's tear it down, build it up scenario. Let's just help each other on how to help grow the sport. A few things that I would like to throw out there. I'm not going to get into too far of detail of what I would like to see, but some ideas maybe we'll be able to put out there. Maybe Ken and Brett will be able to latch on and be like, all right, let's see, this is what the people said, let's implement it. So we're going to go from there. So first thing I would like to say is let's make this more of a prestigious event for Worlds. The Jack Daniels has an invite only. The American Royal has an invite only. Yes, they are barbecue, but I feel like we can translate that over to steak. If we let's just say if you win first place, I feel like that should be an automatic buy into the finals, because how many people can pass down and how many at larges. Let's make it just a little bit like, hey, I won first place, I'm in the finals, let's go from there. Everybody else with pass downs or at larges have to cook into finals. That's just one idea. Another idea that I have is to let's make it a bigger point scale. I know here in Utah we have the barbecue pit stops points chase series. That'd be fantastic to include all cooks inside the state as well, even if it's not a series. I think point chases are huge for the state, versus having divided points. That'd be great as well. So, but those are just some little things that I can put into. I can go for days on stuff that people have recommended, but I just want to open the floor up to everybody just to see what they got going on. How would they like to contribute to this? We have some great people in here. A lot of Utah people looks like they're jumping in on this, but that's fantastic. It doesn't matter. Feedback is feedback. As of right now, I have everybody queued up. I got Morgan coming in first. We'll have Steve Conaway. The Chris's will be coming in. Brennan, Team Benson, Taranakin will be. That's what we have now. So I'm just going to open up the floor. Morgan, I know you're the first one in, so you're going to be the first one on deck. So we're just going to bring you in. Morgan, how's it going, my man?
Not too bad, Anthony. How are you doing today?
Good. So I'm going to try to keep this limited to, 2-3 minutes, because we don't need to just drag it on forever. Let's just get our town hall meeting going, and let's have to hear what you say, man.
I mean, I've been trying to think of different ways to get more people out, and here in California we don't have a whole lot. We got Hayward this weekend, so that's a good thing. But the thing that I think a lot of the promoters need to work on a little bit more is actual promoting, getting the word. Don't leave it just up to um, the potential competitors to spread the word for them, because all my Facebook friends are the people that more likely going to be most of the people that show up.
Right.
And we need to get it out there a little bit more to the general population. I belong to a couple of Instagram forum groups, and I always kind of throw it out there whenever Eric would have one in Simi Valley. But I don't know, I think right now it's just really tough that we're competing. There's so much going on for competing with our dollars.
Right.
And it's tough. So
Mhm.
I do like your idea. I do like your idea that if you got a first place golden ticket, that would kind of be, in your finals, and then, pass downs or at larges or however you want to work it, kind of have to battle their way in, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a cool take on it. I never had
Well,
thought about that before.
Well, and it also reduces the cost for Brett and Ken as well. Instead of having to producing 4 steaks, they don't have to produce 2 steaks for that particular group as well. So it
Yeah.
also helps cut down on costs and all that as well. So, but I agree with you 100% that we need to figure out how to get new blood into the game. We're kind of driving down into a cul-de-sac, nowhere to go. Everybody in that cul-de-sac already knows what's kind of going on, right? And this is
Yeah.
what I talk about, with local barbecue shops. In Hayward, I'm pretty sure there's a few barbecue shops there. Maybe drop off some flyers, and every customer that comes by as a bottle of rub, just throw the flyer in there. 1 out of the 10 of those flyers, somebody's gonna get interest and be like, "Hey, I didn't know this was a thing. Let me look into it," and then possibly become a cook or go at least a judge. Because
Yeah.
we're losing judges as well. It's not just cooks.
Mhm.
So I think something like that, just a little bit self promotion. Being able to get that next level of people that are interested in cooking, maybe understanding that there's competition out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, because we've had people when we had Simi Valley Cooks, and even when I've been out in Utah, people are walking by like, "Oh, what is this?" If I had heard
Mhm.
about it, I would have been interested in doing it. And it's always great to see new first time cooks, or
Yeah,
even people that only done it like maybe once or twice, to come out and compete. So I always make an effort to help them out, answer any questions, give them some tips, tricks.
right.
I mean, that's if we all kind of walk around with our nose in the air and like, "Oh, you're a first timer," you know,
Yeah,
that kind of attitude's not going to do it. We were all first
right.
timers at one point in time.
Exactly. And with that first timers thing, I put this out there before. I have no problem kicking in $5 to the SCA. They have a GoFundMe type setup for first time cooks. Hey, you just have to set in your application. Hey, I want to cook an event. And there's a fund. I'd
Yeah.
kick into that fund regularly. Here's $5, and it,
Hmm.
it would grow and be able to cover some entry fees for first time cooks, because I know that's scary as a first time cook as well, paying that type of amount of money to go and cook a steak that you don't know what you're really doing. So being able to
Yeah.
have that type of scenario would be fantastic as well.
I do like the addition of the jackpot steak.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a fun twist. I mean, that will help promoters kind of, not get hit so hard with the cost of steaks that, you and I
True.
know are just skyrocketing. Gets them a little bit of return on their money, and gets a
Hmm.
few extra steaks out of their cooler. And it's fun. I like the idea that, we're still going to get our SCA points for doing for an extra $50.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for spending some time in here,
No problem.
for your feedback. If you'd like to exit the queue and come back into it and add on more, that'd be fantastic. I just want to make sure we get to everybody.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks. Steve Conaway, how's it going, my man? It looks like you're muted.
Fix that.
There we go.
All good?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are good to go. Steve, what would you like to input into tonight?
Well, I think an aspect that we hear at events from the public is, and this is something we all recognize and know, is these events are inward facing. So a promoter puts on an event, it benefits the cooks. Public shows up or wanders into the event wondering what's happened, and there's no activity for the general public. No sampling of steaks, whatever. So some thought needs to be put into engaging the public. Now in Ventura, we had celebrity cooks come in as part of the competition. The promoter comped their entry fee. the celebrity cooks came in and actually cooked their ancillary turn-ins in front of the public, boxed it up, and went and turned it in. So it was kind of a demonstration cook. It benefited the cooks. It benefited the public that were there. It kind of engaged them a little bit. And we need to put more thought into engaging the public.
Right.
A couple years ago, the Bensons and I came up with a Cook with a Pro concept and invited first-timers to come out. They got hands-on tutelage on cooking competition steak. They set up their cook site. We had certified judges that were there that gave face-to-face feedback, not just private with a number, but they actually judged the steak and provided comments back to the cook as the cook was standing there as part of the learning process. I think we probably had 17, I believe, cooks that came out for that. And that was something that was essentially free. Barbecue Pit Stop, Lehigh, my home away from home for barbecue shops, stepped up and let us use their parking lot. We all know they're a huge supporter of what we all do.
Yeah.
And we had a great day teaching people how to cook competition steaks and giving them kind of a leg up for their first event.
Yeah.
So maybe the Bensons could weigh in a little bit more on that. They probably kept track of some of those cooks if they showed up and actually competed or not. Yeah. But that's just one concept to engage the public, bring out new cooks for a sport or event that we're all passionate about and love completely. The other side of it is, we wonder why cooks stop cooking.
Right.
And, apathy could be the reason. Everybody's budget is limited. I don't care what the budget is, it's limited. And, people change sports, change hobbies all the time. And I think that input, hearing from that segment, would be very valuable for promoters to hear. And it'd be beneficial for me as a cook to hear why they moved on or changed direction. And,
right.
Have a open heart for what we're asking to hear.
Right. I think our next guest, our next people in line will definitely cover that. But I agree with you, Steve. We need to figure out how to get the new blood into the game. We've all talked about it. We're all willing to help share the knowledge. The hard part is sharing knowledge on competition days. Yes, people are coming saying hi, but when you are competing and you are have a lot of invested, the competition time is not the time to really school somebody.
Absolutely. I went down to a market in Ventura after we had the Ventura competition on the beach, and held a class. And I had two guys come up from Mexicali, Mexico. They made the 5-hour drive up for a free class on how to cook a steak. And, if we want to grow the sport, every cook should be willing, and not just willing, but should make the connection to give classes like that at their local butcher shop. And there's a whole lot of benefits to that.
Well, like I've done before, I taught a free class to youth, the young men's here in Utah. We'll just make it simple. I taught a free class to the young men in my driveway. So that is a free opportunity. Their churches, community centers are like that. They don't have no problem coughing up $100 to be able to provide an evening of entertainment and knowledge. So anybody who's willing to do that for free, take advantage of that. Go to your local church, community center, Boys and Girls Club, and just pitch it. Say, hey, I want to teach a class to these kids, and parents are welcome to join. And that could bring 2-3 different people.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We did a competition here in Fillmore. I was the silent promoter. Patrick Maynard was the name promoter. We wanted to do something for the community. We wanted to have a large kids queue. And so we went to the Boys and Girls Club. I took my full competition setup, talked to them, lectured them. I said, now we're going outside and you're going to watch me do it. And you're going to get to taste what we're doing. Yeah. And cooked a couple steaks, cut it up. Every kid got a bite. And then 3 weeks later, we had the event. We had 32 kids sign up for the kids queue. And it was amazing. These kids were kind of young kids. Some were as young as 7 years old. Some were up to about 14 years old. We set rules around the kids queue. No parents. We actually roped parents off away from the kids. And the kids had to cook their own steak. We supplied the grills, everything they needed. The kids just had to show up. And we had, citizen volunteers from the fire department, police department, civic groups that were there to mentor each kid to make sure the kids were safe. And we had a fantastic event. And the kids listened. I mean, it was amazing at that class. It seemed like chaos to me. But 3 weeks later, they're telling the mentor, no, that's not what I was shown. I'm not doing that.
Yep. There you go.
The kids are anxious, and that is viable for any community.
Yes. Well,
there
Steve.
Okay.
Yep. Steve, thank you for your comment. Like I said, if you'd like to comment some more, just exit and come back in. I'd love to hear some more questions for you. And we're going to move on to the Chris's. Chris's, are you there?
Hi.
Hi. No video, but it's all good. We're good.
No, I was napping, so I turned it off.
Is this the
No,
whiskey
it's totally fine.
Is this
It's
the whiskey
fine.
podcast?
Not
Still
yet.
whiskey?
No.
Okay.
Hey, so let's sound off, guys. What brought you into the town hall this evening?
Oh, you kind of mentioned everything that you and I've talked about. I agree with the golden ticket status. I think there's too many pass downs, and it passes down way too far that it kind of takes away from your accomplishment of winning. I would definitely like to see something where all the golden ticket ancillaries and golden ticket steak winners get to go and attend. And I totally understand that, Brett and Ken need to see money coming in to be able to host those, then host two, maybe have one where pass down tickets, wherever they choose to keep doing it all the way down to 10th place, get to go, and then hold an exclusive cook-off where just the golden ticket people get to go. Just kind of, I've talked about that quite a bit. So
Chris,
Yo.
I know you have something to say here.
Honestly, I think we need more kids queues. I don't know how we do that. I don't know if, obviously, we can't have the parents supply the steak, or even if they charge an extra $10 or something on the fee, I would pay $10 to get my son or grandson to do it. I just love the kids queues, and that's the future of it. Realistically it is. We can sit here all day long and try to bring people in, but look at Jeremy McKenna, right? Like that's a prime example, and look where she's at today and what she's doing, and it was just because, Jeremy brought her in, or she brought him in. I don't know the history of it, but it starts, I think, at that youth age. At least for us, like our son Ezric, he loved going and doing kids queues. We just haven't seen him.
Well,
for a while,
he still does kid queues. We do kid kids when he travels with us with the KCBSs.
That's just my big thing. I don't want to see it go. This is where we started. I said, and competing, and the people are just. I just don't want to see it go away because.
Right. So, and I hate to put you guys on the spot here. Obviously, kids queues are huge. We need to find a balance there. If it's taking out an ancillary here every once in a while, I'm pretty sure everybody who's a parent is okay with that. Even if it's taking out a steak, I don't mind cooking one steak. So I think there just needs to be a balance in there. I think adding ribs has kind of taken away from that just a little bit because of the timeline. So I agree 100% with the kids queue. But let's talk a little bit about the financial side. You guys are probably the best ones to speak on it because you both cook. Chris doesn't do as many ancillaries. Christina does everything possible she can. If she's going to be there, she's cooking it. Is the cost as a couple, is that kind of driving you slightly away to maybe just take a step back? Because I know you guys are KCBS cooks as well.
Most definitely.
I think for me, we both agree with that. The cost, and I said this in your Facebook forum that you had going on. Yes, for the cost of me and Chris both to compete in all categories is more expensive than it is for us to really do a KCBS and travel. To get 4 meets, to travel, and to have that cost. And I feel the KCBS has a bigger reward. Same with World Foods, it has a bigger reward than kind of what we're paying. And it's not even necessarily like I expect high payouts. I don't need steaks to be higher payouts. I don't need ancillaries to be higher payouts. But for a goal, once I've already got a golden ticket, or a prime example is this last weekend, when a couple of weekends ago when we were up in Morgan, I won both ancillary tickets. They were all pass downs. They'd passed all the way down past 10th place because everybody's had one. It almost takes that win away from me. And now what am I going to do with it now? We're going to go compete with everybody else that has pretty much even just entered once into the SCA, ends up getting to go to their world finals. So that kind of just takes it away from me with the cost that's going into it. What goal as a food sport, as a food cook, am I seeing at the end of that? And what reward is that for me?
Yeah.
I just get more of that out of the KCBS right now.
I agree with you. If you wanted to kick back and not cook all summer long and then just wait till the last cook of the season, you're like, everybody has a golden ticket. I'm going to go cook one steak. If I can top 10, I'm in.
Right. Right.
So,
But not only that, then what financially, what end do I want to be in? Do I want to go to the Jack? Do I want to go to the Royal? Do I want to go to World Foods? Do I want to go to the SCA? Like, when you want to start thinking about money, what do you want to go compete against? And sadly, I think there's not as much prestige there, I guess.
I agree 100% with you.
Is just my thoughts with that. But a couple of other things that I kind of want to touch base with that I think would be, I really liked it back in the day when you loaded in, and I don't know about other states. I've only competed SCA in a few other states, but I really liked back in the day here in Utah, when we loaded in, you loaded in as you came in. And I loved that it put you next to somebody new every single time. And you got to get to know somebody new every single time. You might see somebody's face there and compete once a month with, but you really don't know them until you're right next to them. And you get to talk about what you do on daily living. You get to talk about competing, and you get to talk about your kids, right? Like, you get to know more people. And then I feel as we're starting to come in now, we're all competing with our friends or who we want to be, or everybody's in certain groups. That kind of is off-putting, and maybe to new people as well. Just a thought.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, you just, as you rolled in, that's your spot. That's your spot. That's your spot.
Yep.
I like it. And then also touching a little bit about old school ways. One steak, one ancillary. I'm going to preach that until I die. Let's get some more of those cooks going.
I agree. No, I do agree with you with that. And I remember the day when we all started kind of voting, do we want 2 cooks or 2 steaks? Do we want 2 steaks? And we were all, oh yeah. But I think all of us started feeling that in our pocketbook.
Yeah.
And I do feel then that's when decisions had to start being made. And it wasn't really a weekend sport, little hobby thing anymore. It became, can I afford it?
Right.
But I do agree with you. I think 1 steak, 1 ancillary would be amazing. But I do also get, like, we don't have as many cooks across as other people do. So as to hit those top numbers.
Yeah,
you're right. I agree. Yep.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue with the promoter, what he needs, to break even and all that, I'm sure. So
exactly. All right, guys. Thank you for your comments. I want to make sure we get to everybody. So if you want to comment some more, Christina, I know you probably have some more points. Just exit the queue and then come back in, please, and then we'll get to you. We'll have plenty of time. Okay.
All right. She really told me this was the bourbon podcast, so I'm sorry, man.
It's all good.
I would have had more input.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, my man.
Thank
you, Christina. Yep. Brennan, welcome to the show, man.
What's happening?
What's going on? Sound off for me, my man. There's been a lot going on. I'm pretty sure the questions get deeper as we go. That's the whole point of it. But let's try to cover everything.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my thoughts have also been covered, here, and I see, the kids queue thing. I have kids coming up to that age, so I do think that's something enticing to get people to comps. I know, talking to Steve, for our area at least, that decisions had to be made as far as what to get rid of for, say, ribs or another ancillary or whatnot. And the kids' queue was getting lower in participation there at the very end. So he said that's what went. he heard a lot of complaints about the timeline for the day being so long. So that's another reason he said to go away from that. But
then we turn around and then add ribs.
Yes.
So now you're at the same.
The SCA made a push 2 years ago or whatnot, wanted to get ribs really involved, and so he took that from them and kind of ran with it, Yeah. So,
definitely.
I don't know. I think I'm on the outs here. It sounds like I love the sport. Love
we all
the
love
doubles,
the
more steaks is all good with me. So,
well, Mr. being in the top 10 for Grill Gates Grill Masters, of course you want more steaks. I get it. I get it. There are benefits to being able to cook more steaks, but I look kind of good. What Christina is, I miss the days where I could load in at 8 o'clock, be home by 3 o'clock, and still being able to watch my favorite college football team. I get it. I think more local events. Yes, you are a traveler. Steve Conaway's a traveler. Morgan is a traveler. That I understand it takes your time to come do it, but I feel like we might be able to. It's not pushing those guys out, but we'd be able to have more of a, just a community locally where you could just do one steak, but then obviously move on to doubles and stuff to include them. They have the choice. Steve Conaway is a huge fan of every double can be a single, understanding the travel constraints on that. But I also like sometimes getting where I can still go to my niece's birthday, I sign up in advance, throughout most of the season, and then boom, suddenly the birthday party. I'm like, I already paid. I can't really get out of this, but when they're at the single, I can still make both. So my hands are tight on this one because I understand both sides. The scale tips the same way. On that.
I talked to my buddy Sean. We all know Sean Rapier, and he had a really good idea of as far as what if Pit Stop come out to attract new blood anyways and offered a steak class, much like what you did a few years ago, but where, okay, it's $100 entry fee or say for the steak class, but that class then gets you a free admission to the next steak competition that's in a week or so. So you kind of filter out some of the people who are just there for a free class. The people that want to be there are the ones that are there. And then that gives them incentive to go to the next competition and essentially try and get that seed planted.
I love that idea.
I know you did something similar where whoever attended yours, you did a raffle and one of them got a free entry into the next comp.
Yeah. I just love that. It's awesome. So and Brandon, I'm right there with you, man. We got to figure this out. I understand people like to cook. You have the option to cook more if you want to, but then also I don't cook ancillaries. I don't cook ribs. I'd rather just cook my steak and get awards going, right? Maybe and maybe that's something that Brett can look at. Let's just, maybe nationwide. Had we talked about this as before? I want to know how my first steak did anyways. What can I adjust? Maybe just hammer out awards in between. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something, steak A, we're doing awards. It's take 15, 20 minutes and then boom, we're on to the next cook. And maybe people, and then that way people cook one steak and they're done for the day, go home. So I don't know what the answer is to timelines. Timelines is one of those things that's going to have to be figured out over time.
Yeah. And I've had some of the cooks that have kind of backed out in our area that I've talked to. And, they say that the funds wore off, the drive's kind of gone away. And I just don't know how you keep that spark alive in some of them or.
Right. Yep.
I don't know.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the minute to jump in and speak your mind.
Yeah.
Get back in the queue. I'm pretty sure you might have some other ideas by the end of this. So jump back in the queue and we'll talk to you here in just a minute.
Okay.
Thanks. Team Benson, how are you this evening? Are you guys there? You're on mute. Team Benson, last call. All right, there we go. Jeez, why'd you guys have to do it in front of so many awards? Just make me feel bad. Jeez, just cook better. That's what I got to tell myself. Just cook better. Maybe I'll be like a Benson one day.
So, we pretty much cook everything at every event. In fact, I can pretty much say I'm the only one that's signed up for every event at every barbecue pit stop, every category at every barbecue pit stop series in the entire thing.
That's because we're crazy like that.
Yeah. So we know all about what it costs to do it. We know all this. So, I've got a few thoughts. I mean, we try and go out there. We went and got permission from the SCA to go to the state fair and sponsor the pork chop cooks for both the adults and kids, and hand out an ancillary golden ticket to the winner of each. Well, ancillary to the adult and the kids, cue to the kids. We're looking for areas outside of just,
SCA competition.
SCA competitions or social media as far as trying to grow it. One of the things that I think we forget is there's a marketing rule, the rule of 7. And if anybody knows that, basically what it is you've got to have 7 points of contact. 7 times they've got to come across the thought of competing before they'll actually do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I agree 100%. Being able, and first of all, I want to tell you thank you. You guys are kind of in that transition of semi promoters and cooks, and being able to find that state fair event was awesome. Unfortunately, I heard about it too late to be able to get the word out, but that is still a fantastic idea, and I really do appreciate that on that.
Yeah, and we got to talk to 10 people that like to cook about the SCA. Yeah. So they like to cook competitively about the SCA. Now, none of them, it was 2 days before Morgan, but none of them came. But at the same time, there's the first one. So how do we keep getting those people involved and points of contact?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Another thing, I've had discussions with Barbecue Pit Stop about more social media posts about the SCA. Part of what they struggle with is their metrics. Anytime they have SCA in the header or in their post, it's like a 30 to 40% less open rate. Mm-hmm. And so they don't like to do too many posts about it because, but then I go back to the rule of 7. But we've got to keep doing that so that these people get exposure. Right. Even though it's lower now, if we don't keep, if we don't keep hammering it, they're not going to ever come.
Right. Agree. So, Miriam, I know you got some feedback. Let's hear what you have to say.
First of all, thank you for setting this up. I think it's so good for bringing people together and sharing their opinion, because we're all invested. We all want this to be successful.
Exactly.
And I think there's some really good points that have been said already. I like the idea of having more kids queues. I remember when our daughter was doing kids queues, that's when the age limit changed. So once they hit 13, then they had to compete with the adults. And I think that was a hard change. Yeah. Because Allie was definitely not ready to start competing with adults. And I don't know what the solution with that would be, but.
Well, I feel like to be able to drive that, I understand the SCA's concept of this because you're agreeing to, their liabilities and all this stuff at that point. But I feel like there should be an open category for everybody from, you got your kids queues, that go up to the age of 13, after age 13 to 18. They do have to compete with the kids, but there should also be a subcategory of under 18 champion. I think that would help build that category. Yeah, you are cooking against the adults, but you're also gaining traction in being the champion within that category.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've actually talked to Ken and Brett about is like with the jackpot stake, including a kids queue. So during that jackpot, have kids be able to turn in and get a different color ticket. And so it's the same jackpot. They get one steak, they get to cook it and then turn it in. And then you have a kids queue built in without adding time if you're doing a jackpot.
I am going to slightly disagree with you on this. And here's my reason why is the jackpot stakes. 2 are randomly selected. They're handed out. I get that. That's awesome. You pay an entry fee on that. But I'm not saying that everybody's honest. Pops could grab a good steak, pass it along into the kids queue, and then that becomes a very controversial point. I feel like kids queues need to stay pork chop or something of a variable cut where it cannot be selected from a pass down from an adult to a child. That's just my opinion because I know it will happen over time. But
it's the same argument that people are bringing in,
right?
Better steaks and cooking those.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And those people, you know, it's the honest game. I trust you, Nate. You trust me. We're gonna go and pick our steaks off a table and cook them, right? That's how it should be. But there are people that make it salty.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we should change it. But the problem with trying to do something like that is you open up another time slot. What I'm trying to do is have it in the same time slot. So we don't have to extend the day to have a kids queue.
Right.
You know, they get judged on the table with the adults, but they have separate scoring at the end.
Yeah, I agree with you. If there's a way to maybe put a marker in it, I'm down with it. I've seen something where you can figure out how to mark your steak, or I don't know what the process is on that to be able to make it fair.
I mean, you could brand the steak.
Yeah, you could put little SCA brand right in the middle, and that's a kids queue steak.
Or have random brand each time.
Yeah,
you know which brand it's going to be.
Right, exactly. So, well, cool. Thank you so much. I want to talk to you guys more. Just go ahead and get queued back up. We will bring it on. I think I have Taryn Akin, Johnny Cobia, Joe, and then we're gonna go back. We're gonna start it over to Morgan, the Chris's, and Brandon. So, thank you. We will get more feedback from you here, hopefully.
Am I on here?
Taryn, yes, Taryn, you are live.
Right on. Yeah, it's kind of hard to actually really respond with anything different than what we've already talked about. I had a good long discussion with ChatGPT trying to come up with some ideas and stuff for this whole thing. But I personally, I love SCA. It is my favorite thing, and it kills me to see it kind of dying off. So I'm really glad we're doing this kind of thing. And I was trying to think more from like my perspective on how I got into it. I got my own grill, built, and at the time, Utah barbecue community and Watson was like really strong. Like everybody was posting their different cooks. There's a lot of community going on. And then I happened to notice that there was a bunch of people who were competition. And at the time, SCA wasn't super big, but it was the backyard barbecue competitions and KCBS. And that's kind of what made me realize, like, shoot, this is more than just stuff you watch on TV, but there's actually local folks that are getting into competitions, and made me realize, like, I could actually get into it. I didn't get into it for years later. So kind of going back what Nate was talking about, it takes like 7 times before you really kind of get going. But that's one area that I've noticed is really died down is there's no Facebook group stuff going on. Like rarely are people posting on it. There's not a lot of engagement. And I think that's one area to start. I don't think it's going to make people see huge increases in competitions right away. But I think over time, you're going to see a lot of people from that kind of get into the sport, if that makes sense.
Well, I agree 100% with you. I feel like those groups have kind of gone away, Taryn, the backyard groups. And I think everybody's kind of migrated into team, they go to their grill spot. Green Mountain Grills has a community page. The Pitmasters podcast has a community page, Traeger has a the Hasty Bake has their own community page, and I think people are starting to just kind of go into their own community pages and forgetting about the whole barbecue community. So I agree with you 100%. We got to figure out how to bring the community back together out of these silos and bring them back into more of a mingling pool of people who are just passionate about cooking meat over fire, right?
Absolutely.
I am 100% on board with that. I don't know what the answer is. I'm gonna say I'm old, but Facebook is dying. TikTok, you don't have groups. Instagram, you don't have groups. I think that could be something to come into play as well.
Sure. The biggest thing is it's the community aspect. I don't know how strong the community feels. I know sometimes there's getting drama out there, and sometimes that kills off some of the community vibes with the competitions and whatnot. But I do feel like that's one of the biggest things, because if you're doing this to earn money, this is the worst sport to get into. This is all about hanging out with people that you like and doing stuff. I do think one big thing is, and somebody mentioned this, competitions I think are really, I don't know, it's not the way they're kind of set up right now is not a great place for sponsoring, because it's always I don't know why a company would sponsor for the same 30 people who are going to be there. And so it does need to be, I think, attached more towards community events. Here, like Tooele, we just had a thing, a lantern festival thing. And I was just kind of thinking, man, you could have set up something right before this, a competition, and then people just they're already there early and they'd be checking things out. And then you can stay for this whole event kind of deal. And that would actually bring a lot more traffic in. People would actually care to sponsor it because more people are coming through. So like that's an area I would like to learn more on. I honestly think maybe there should be a class on somebody who's really good at reaching out and finding sponsorships, knowing the right people to talk to. Give a class just to train on that, because whatever, I just don't even know who I'd reach out to for community events.
Right. I agree 100% with you. And like I said, your local stores are going to be your best friend. Brennan has teamed up with Ace Hardware down there. He has buddies in there, and he goes in and asks a solid question, and they tell him yay or nay, so it's about knowing your friends that are in your own community that you can actually break that ice with. Even if it's a local guy that does your tires every winter, that swaps them out, he knows you personally, you guys talk on the side, say hello in the grocery store. Those are the people you need to start off with. Hey, I'm looking for sponsorship. What can we do to make this work on both of our sides? I think things like that. But Taryn, I am 100% on board with you of getting the community more involved again. It has fallen out a little bit, so it doesn't definitely need to come back.
Yeah, and I was even meaning more like sponsorships towards the actual event, not necessarily individual people.
No, having Les Schwab sponsor an event, how cool is that, right? But yeah, things like that I think are great. And it's not even a sponsor an event. Les Schwab has donated tires or an award to this event. I think something along those lines, being able to, expand into different things. So,
well, and you said something earlier I think is not a bad deal either. I don't know. You said something about there's almost like a GoFundMe you could do. I think that'd be a perfect thing to set up something like that for like the pit stop series. I mean, I would for sure be okay with throwing $20 extra each competition if I knew it went towards something bigger to kind of keep the sport going. I think there's plenty of people who feel the same way.
Right. I agree 100%. Yeah. I feel like there should be some kind of aspect of somebody hey, I'm a first time cook. I'm nervous. Just send an application to somebody picks up that cost. Once again, local communities, they might be willing to help that. Hey, this is a first time cook sponsored by In-N-Out Burger, or whatever, the Iceberg, something local. That's great ideas as well. Thank you for your feedback. Go ahead and jump back in the queue if you would like to chat more. I'm bringing on Cobia, Johnny Cobia. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. I know you have a lot on your mind. Let's see if we can filter it out. Keep it clean. And what do you have to say, Johnny?
All the F words were said at work today, so I only have 5 a day, and they were all said about 10 o'clock this morning.
Perfect.
So
we're good.
A lot of people have kind of hinted on everything. I kind of wanted to say, I think our biggest thing is marketing, though. I mean, that's huge. We've got to get it out more. We've got to get more people to even notice it. Like Taryn said, you go to the Facebook pages and nobody's looking at those really. We've got to figure out how people can see it, because if they don't see it, nobody's going to show up, right?
Yeah.
No new people, no old people who don't even see that the comps are even still going, you know?
Right. I agree 100%.
I think a good thing, the GoFundMe thing's a cool idea. I like that. I think what might be even a little bit better, so we're not spending so much money still, is have a discount for a first time cook. Have it like half off. I mean, yeah, that sounds stupid, and that's only for one steak. Of course, you can't have both steaks, maybe. And then if they win, which happened in, I want to say it was in Ventura, I can't remember. Well, then there you go. You're probably set. If you don't win and you want to come back again, have it like 25% off, you know, and then the third time it's full price, and they can kind of get into that rhythm and see how everything goes. So that was an idea I thought might be worth saying.
What about if you're a first-time member of the SCA? Your first-time membership is $160, and you get a free entry fee to whatever competition you decide.
Yeah, something like that, you know.
Cost. After that, after you're a member, then it goes back to the regular $40 a year. But I don't know, because that puts skin in the game. Hey, I put $160 to become a member of this association, but I get my first SCA Cook comped.
Yeah, it's a perk, you know. It's that, you know, there it is.
Exactly.
Have fun with it and everything like that. So
yeah,
that's one thing I thought of.
What else from an ancillary perspective?
From an ancillary side, make them $25 again. I know I'm not going to name their names, but I can name 5 people off the top of my head who said if they went back to $25, I would be more interested in coming and competing and doing, which would be fun, because I love cooking ancillaries, and I love all 8 people I cook against, but I'm tired of cooking against only 8 people.
That's not an SCA thing. That is a promoter thing. So, I agree with you, but that has to be on the promoter level.
Yes.
For sure.
And
I'm just
talking local kind of here, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, totally. But we still fall under the same umbrella. But yes, I think if $25 would get more people to cook, I would definitely. I would probably cook, maybe. I don't know. I'm always on the fence anyways if I'm going to do an ancillary or not, just because everybody knows my feelings everywhere on this, because I don't.
And they mess up your timeline. They 100%. If you're a steak cook and you're like, oh, let's do an ancillary, they mess up your timeline so bad if you haven't gotten one done before, you know? They do.
Exactly. Yep.
I like the idea of what Conaway brought up, you know, public coming in and stuff like that. The state of Utah, especially Utah County, is really weird about permits. So that's a hard thing to do. But if you could do it, bring in them. I think it'd be really cool if the promoter or somebody could reach out and actually during a competition, you know, I've got all my notes down here, so I keep looking at, have a class during the competition. And it's not an actual class, but it's people off to the side who aren't competing at all, but love to cook. The steaks provided for them, the charcoal's provided for them, all this stuff's provided for them. So when public comes in, they're like, hey, what are you guys doing? It's like, oh, we're cooking steaks. Them guys over there, they're doing the same thing we are. They're not in a competition though, so they have time to talk to you, go through it, have some samples, you know. I think that'd be a cool idea if we could get a class during a competition.
Well, yeah, I guess more of a demo.
Class,
a walkthrough demo. But then again, I'm not going to teach that, because I'd rather be competing. It's a matter of being able to find that volunteering base.
I teach it.
To do that.
I mean, I've stepped way back this year. I think I've only done 3 this year.
Yeah. So
if they called me up and said, hey, I know you're not signed up, would you come and demo and cook, and we'll provide everything, I'd do it.
Sweet. Yeah. And those are the type of people that they probably need to find. And that's fantastic.
But I mean, and like everybody else has done, cost is a huge thing. I mean, I've been doing this since 2021 now. And I mean, I'm with traveling, because I did a lot of traveling the last 3 years. I haven't done any traveling this year, really. I was probably, and I'm not exaggerating, that's probably 30 to 35 grand deep into the sport.
Wow.
With all that traveling, you know, you do your comps, your hotel, your fuel, all that. So it's a big money problem.
And I agree. Like, if you can go back and search Malcolm Reed SCA competition, he has a great video. All I need is my Weber, a canopy, and a cooler full of beer, and I'm going to cook this steak event. How cool was that back in the days? And I think that's where it stemmed to. But now coming into the competition, I got to spend $3,000 on a smoker. Most people have trailers, you know. So just even get a grill, you're already out in the hole.
Oh
You
yeah.
know? So
I mean, just a simple little grill is $200 to $400.
and maybe that's an ancillary idea for Steak B, the Weber challenge. Have Weber
Weber
kicking some
challenge.
money, and everybody you have to cook on a Weber. You know, maybe we can reverse the role a little bit if everybody, you know, cooks Steak B on a Weber, and you know, there's a jackpot or something at the end. I have
Yeah.
once again, this is why I'm doing this, because it's just throwing out ideas to hopefully maybe
Yep.
something can get traction and being able to help improve this and get us more cooks.
Yep. Another thing I think would be nice is I love our sponsors and everything, and I'm not going to name names or anything because I don't want to do that. But I think if we can do like a rotation of sponsors and find new sponsors and rotate them through, so it's not the same sponsor sponsoring the same 30 people every single time.
Right.
It's a rotation of more sponsors, because I mean, I know what the sponsors do and have to do and stuff, and I'm sure it's financially hard for them and stuff like that. But I think if we can find some other sponsors that, like you said, Les Schwab. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
come do it in our parking lot. We'll have some of you guys feed some people. I'll give you guys a $500 certificate for some tires. There's a sponsor, you know?
Exactly.
So,
John Bolton, I am trying to read your comments. I'm trying to read comments. I do like your idea of 8 regions, top 4 finishers, get to the round of 32. Grand champion Fort Worth, Texas, 64 is the finalist. I love that idea. That is a prestigious idea. I think the points need to be discussed. I can go offer that. I don't know who wants to jump in on that. Or that might be something for a different timeline, but I think the points definitely need to be discussed. I don't have the opportunity to cook 60 competitions a year. 60
No.
competitions plus is 60 points plus beneficial wins that put you at the top. Nobody west of the Mississippi is going to be able to do that. So the point structure definitely needs to do something.
yeah, I agree with that on that as well.
And I think there should be a cap. You can buy in any event, but you're capped at 30 auto points. After that, you have to win your points. Something has to be done about the points, Chase.
Yeah. Yep. And
So-
I could put that under what, like the Dunyan said, as an incentive, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, you could have somebody out east cook 60 and they're already ahead of you, and you had 4 first places and you're not even close
even
to them.
close.
They had 60 almost last places, you know?
Right. Exactly. All right. I completely lost track where I'm at. Johnny, thank you for
No,
speaking.
you're
Your
good.
time. I think I got circling back to Morgan. We did lose one, and then I think we're gonna fit in Ryan C. He is new. I'd love to hear from some new blood. So let's get back Morgan. Morgan, welcome back.
Hey,
What are you thinking
I
so
tell you
far?
what, you know, if Ryan's new, bring him in. Let him.
Okay.
I'd love to have you spend some time with him. I'd like to hear his thoughts.
Perfect. Thank you, Morgan.
You're welcome.
Ryan C., are you with us?
Yes, I am here.
Hello. Welcome.
All right. Thank you. So I can probably give a little bit of perspective of a somewhat newcomer who hasn't competed yet, and
Perfect. This is
where I stand
fantastic.
with that. So last year I did come up. I saw on Facebook they were doing the free class out at Barbecue Pit Stop. I think Steve talked a little bit about that. With Steve, the Bensons were there, Roger, Mike Patterson was there, a bunch of people there helping us learn and things like that. It was awesome. They provided all the gear, and I've been really excited about it. And I still want to compete. I'm even an SCA member, and I haven't even competed at this point. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have 0 SCA events here in Albuquerque, so I would be traveling up there. But you know, some of the things that were talked about, like the cost of the gear. Steve hooked me up with a friend who is selling a hasty bake in Las Vegas. My son-in-law happened to be in Las Vegas. I paid the guy and my son brought it back to me. So I've got one. I've got some, some practicing, but then you've got the other things, you got to have the table to put it on, all those types of things. And then of course the travel and that some of that's already been talked about, but, and maybe this is also an issue with not having as many people compete. As I do watch the scores when they come out after each event. And it seems to be the same winners, but somebody coming in, it's like, I'm not even going to come close, so it's like, but I still want to go have the experience either way. At the class, it was nice to have some feedback. I could sit there and the judges would tell me exactly what I had to work on with my steak, which was great. I know that's not going to be a thing with SCA, but I think some feedback for newcomers would be helpful too. So we know what to get better on when we do come back.
I agree.
I did attend one, I think it was the end of last season down at the barbecue pit stop in St. George. Went there, Bensons were there, talked with them, hung out with them a little bit, things like that. We got to go inside, and because it was inside the store, the judging, we got to see the judging. And that was awesome. When I went and saw one of the competitions at Heritage Craft Butchers, spectators couldn't go in and watch the judging. I think if people could watch the judging that aren't competing, I think that would be something as well. And the other thing with the competitions is when I went, it's like you can go around and you can talk to people. Some people want to talk to you, some people don't. And that's okay too, but give us something to do too. I know there's issues that you guys were just talking about with permitting and things like that, to be able to do things like bouncy houses for kids and, you know, some music, things like that, something to do so that you're not just there for 30 minutes and you talk to the people that will talk to you and then you're just kind of standing around, you know, kind of feeling out of place. So
yeah, I agree 100%. Barbecue is not a spectator sport. Steak events are not a spectator sport, but I think inserting ourselves into some cool community events is huge, just so people can ask questions and say, oh, what is this about? You know, county fairs, car shows, state fairs. I think things like that are huge. And then also circling back to your cost scenario, I feel like the community is pretty kind around the SCA. If there's a new cook out there that wants to do it but doesn't want to invest, I'm pretty sure somebody's willing to bring an extra grill.
Oh yeah, I know that the Bensons have offered to do that and things like that.
And it's just, I think the word needs to kind of get out to that, you know. Whenever you go golfing with your buddies the first time, you're like, I don't have golf clubs. They're like, oh, I have some for you to borrow. You know, you go out there and do that and learn how to golf. Then you're like, then you want to slowly invest after you've kind of tasted what it's like, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. I like that because, you know, newcomers, we're not going to have B&B Charcoal or, you know, some of these rub companies want to sponsor us because we haven't proven ourselves. We haven't proved anything to anybody that we could be a benefit to having their name at my table, you know. And so I think something like that would be awesome. And advertising that, hey, come do it and we'll help you.
Well, cool, Ryan. Thank you so much.
So
much for your feedback. I'm going to let everybody know this is probably our 10-minute warning. I do have to record another podcast at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So we're getting close. I'm going to bring Morgan, the Chris is back in, and then we'll just see where we're at with that. Morgan.
Hey, one of the things that Ryan had mentioned and I kind of had thought about was, you know, all of us have, you know, extra grills. I mean, I've got a couple of C4s, I got a couple of I got a PK Go that I'd be more than happy to bring if it would help a new cook not have to go out and purchase a grill and, you know, and shell out that cost for something that they may or may not even be into, you know, in 6 months. So I think that would be kind of a cool way to we'd have to figure out a way to get it thrown out there on a particular event. It's like, hey, you don't have a grill, we got you covered. You know, a sign up list for people that need grills or something along those lines. One of the things I was thinking as far as promoters go is and Steve did it with the Ventura Comp and the Fillmore Comp. Reach out to local charities, and you know they when you've got proceeds going to a charity organization, then you're going to get a lot more businesses want to put their name out there and give you money to sponsor this. I know, Steve and I, he's retired now, but Steve and I used to work for the same company, and they were, they put money towards, I believe it was the kids queue, or they paid for the entry fees for the kids queue, because it was going to it was good for a good cause. It was going to a charity. And
Yeah.
if you look at a lot of the competitions that they have, in the Midwest and back east and stuff like that, is a lot of them are benefiting. Charities. Yeah, their numbers have been going down as far as participants, but you look at their payouts are generally full.
Right.
So, that'll help promoters offset some of the cost of the trophies, the stakes, payouts,
Right.
something along those lines.
Yep. I agree 100%. And yeah, once again, we're going to circle back to Taryn, community. We need to build the community. That's where it all starts. So
that's what keeps me coming back, is seeing everybody every time.
Exactly. And
So,
if we can grow our community, it'd be awesome. I hate to compare this to another sport that is not popular, but I used to play professional foosball. We used to get 30, 40, 50 people competing weekly. That has dwindled down to maybe half, 25 people a week. That is still a huge number for a weekly. The cost is not that much, but they do have regional events once a month, and we're pulling 200-300 competitors, and they're paying pretty dang close to the same amount we are just to enter all the events. So it's a matter of trying to figure out how to get more people in. They've been playing foosball since 1970. And having huge events that were going up to the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, they're not that high anymore, but that community has strived and stuck together and still is going to this day. So we need to figure out, maybe we need to look into their community and see how are they doing this to be able to continue to. And it's not a popular sport. A lot of people don't even know it exists, but it has larger numbers than the SCA. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of competitive groups out there that we could probably learn from.
Right.
And we definitely need to I agree with everybody, bring back kids queues. I like the idea of, like, at a certain age you got to move up to the next bracket, because is it fair to have a 14-year-old competing against a 10-year-old? That right there is a little bit intimidating on its own. So I definitely like the idea of doing kids queues and having a separate division.
Yeah.
So
cool.
All
righty. Thank you, Morgan. Appreciate your comments.
Anytime.
Yeah. Whoa, the Chris's, you're a little loud. You're coming in hot.
Sorry. This is the Bourbon Podcast, right?
No.
Real quick, before Christina rips the phone out of my hand,
Yeah.
I just want to put it out there. Like, I know that we were talking about grills and people coming in, dude. We have 5 grills at our house, so I'm putting it out there now. If anybody, you guys have friends that want to do it, just let us know. We'll bring them. And we do that with barbecue all the time. Like, guys will fly in from Florida and be like, "Hey, anybody got a pellet grill I can borrow?" And we usually bring it to the event, So
yeah,
I know. I'm sure between all of us in this core group that's worried about it, we could probably bring 30 grills and bring new people in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% agreed.
So I'm just putting that out there on our end. I'm sure everyone else would feel equally the same. But all right, my wife's going to take the phone now. So
okay.
Hi, back.
Hi. Yes.
So listening to everybody else speak, and they have a lot of good points. But out of all my years competing, there's one comp that I talk about to all my friends, to all the people who don't know about it, and it's when I went to Florida. I competed in Florida, and I was blown away by the difference. And not to downplay any promoters here or anything that goes on. I'm so thankful for the effort and the time that everybody puts on. But when I was there, Shriners was putting this on. Now, how many charity events are going on daily, weekly, monthly in the state of Utah? These are things that I feel people need to, or promoters, or even some of us that need to step up, I guess. I don't know. But when I was there, they had multiple things going on. There was the SCA comp. There was a chili cook-off. There was a car show going on. They had raffles going on. I sat and I talked to these people a little bit about it, and the money that was coming in and going out was just outrageous. The payouts were huge, but they also made money on that side of it. The whole community came in and was a part of this. They were part of the chili cook-off. They were part of the SCA. They were part of the car show. And then at the end of this, they had a big, huge dinner that, and I know we talk about wanting to be gone by 3:00, but it felt part of a community. It felt part of something, and it was an all-day event. They held a dinner afterwards that was affordable for everybody. It was like $10. We all stayed, we all ate. They had probably 50 things that they raffled off that were really cool. I mean, one of them was a 50-50 prize. There's a couple of other prizes, and then they did awards in that. So then the community stayed and was a part of the awards. It was the funnest event that I have done in the SCA, and I've not seen it ever done like that here in Utah, right? So I know there's just this elephant in the room. I feel that we all talk about it and what to do to keep it alive and what to keep it going. But sadly, once we get somebody involved, we need to keep them to want to stay involved. We can give them a free entry. We can give them the stuff to do it. But how are more people hearing about it and then wanting to stay and have a good time with it, right? I just think there's a lot of opportunities missed. Days of 47, we had a KCBS there. We weren't involved in the Days of 47, big opportunity missed. It goes on both ends, I think, not just the SCA, but the biggest events that I have seen that are greatest turnout involve the community and involve everybody that is also participating.
Right.
That's just my thought.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to see if I can get 2 more guests in here. Thank you, Christina.
See ya.
Yeah, bye-bye. I'm going to see if we can, man. Okay. We're going to bring in Brandon, Team Benson, and Taryn. If I don't get to you, I'm sorry, man.
What's happening? Hey, looking in the comments and whatnot, I've seen quite a few things on there as far as comment cards.
Yes, that's huge.
I do. I think that's huge. I think, I know a few cooks that have been struggling, and I've struggled immensely with texture this year. Haven't figured it out. And to have a comment card where you can find out what did they ding you on? What didn't they like about it?
Brennan, have you ever judged?
I took the class.
Okay, so
I can't judge because then I miss a cooking opportunity.
Yeah, you and I, we see eye to eye, but we also have a lot of disagreements, and we fill each other's side. We're very political, and we respect each other's ideas. Dude, steaks move so fast. It's not like KCBS where you just take one, taste it. It's literally as soon as the person next to you is done eating, they're passing the steak. Comment cards, I agree, would be fantastic but difficult. What I would like to see on that,
even if it's not a comment,
I would like to see the over under. Under is a circle that is easy. Comments, I'm going to have to disagree with you. That's going to be
no. That's more what I agree with. But you've done this. Was it over under? Was it chewy? Was it mushy? Was it tough?
I agree with
something that they could circle. I don't necessarily, agree. I agree with you. Not necessarily writing a comment, but a few bullets that they could circle.
Yeah. So, and here's the other part. The SCA would have to restructure their entire scoring system, because when you sit down, you write what table you're on, what seat you're in, and your name. To be able to get that card back is going to be difficult because they do keep those for records. So I don't know how that would be over. I don't know if it's a matter of a check mark inside the score sheet. But I agree with you 100%. It would have to be, because you don't want to risk the jeopardy of that judging style to be bashed in the community of this person, that person.
Yeah.
We have to protect.
And I know it's something that I've had new cooks express to me though. They're like, well, I just don't know what went wrong. What did they ding me on? What didn't they like? Right. Yeah. Well, I can't really tell you that. I didn't see your steak. I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually at this point, I feel like I'm pretty good judge on my own steak. Mm-hmm. As far as, I think I was going to be off on doneness or, know.
Right. Perfect. Yeah, that was fantastic feedback. I agree with you 100%. We need to be able to have a little bit of feedback on what we're doing wrong. I agree. Yeah. Agreed. Thank you, Brandon. Thanks
man.
for spending the
Thanks,
evening
bud.
with me. Yeah, we'll talk to you later. Yep. Team Benson, you have about 30 seconds.
I'm going to go really quick, but we are going to continue to try to reach out to the public and provide competitions. I know we've started with the American Fork High School comp and getting the public there, and I think that was a really great competition. We had a lot of good feedback, so we can improve that. But we got to keep going with this because it's the best thing. We get to hang out with the best people and do what we love.
I agree 100%. And I want, once again, I've said thank you already, but I want to thank you again for crossing that line of cook to promoter. There was some comments about promoters in there. Unfortunately, no promoters joined in this town hall. I might have to hold one. Maybe I'll make this a semi-annual event or something. I don't know, but we need to hear from promoters, the promoters aspect. You guys are learning about that. Financially, it is a huge cost up front. To know if you're going to get your money back, that's a scary risk. It's kind of like the stock market. You put money in, you don't know what you're going to get back out.
Well, it's like competing. You can't expect to make money promoting.
But breaking even is what you want as a promoter.
That's the goal.
Yes. As a promoter, you would like to see your money come back because you can't continue to go in the hole and not get a reward out of the end unless you have the financial means to just love the community, and instead of putting $1,000 in your monthly golf membership, you can just put it into the community and keep it going.
We talk about all these cool events where they do one.
Yeah.
Where you're doing 3 or 4, you can't get the same. Like, you get a sponsorship for the year. You don't get it for what these guys are getting for one comp and come pour into one comp to make these really cool comps.
Mm-hmm.
We have to spread it across 3 or 4, and it just doesn't make it nearly as feasible.
Right. And once again, I think every competition should have a trophy sponsor. How cool we have Utah, we had license plates this year, but how cool would it be to have a sponsor on there, of anybody, because we're posting that picture, we're going to tag that person for the award anyways. So might as well just have a rotating sponsorships of, like we said earlier, just a local business willing to put up a couple $100 to be able to hopefully get their name out there. It's all it's considered a write-off for the business. Yeah, they're not getting to recoup all of it, but it's still a donation into the community, and they'll be able to get that on the back end, hopefully at the end of their tax season. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up, guys. Benson, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Appreciate that. Wow, that was a lot to take in. We might have to do this again. I want to thank everybody who took their time to comment, to join the conversation, to be able to just express your voice a little bit. I think this is what needs to happen. We hold it in, and it gets us angry sometimes. So just talking about it and maybe throwing some ideas out there. And once again, like I said, I would hope that maybe Brett and Ken will watch this and be able to get just a little bit of feedback and make small changes. I'm not expecting all the changes to happen in one season. Baby steps will get to the end goal. Thank you all for joining. I really do appreciate all of you, and I'm going to head out. I am going live again with another show. Please tune into that, and hope you enjoy. Thank you, guys.